It's Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter podcast, and we are at Pythian Castle here in Springfield, Missouri, as we do every single week. And if you've got anything going on in your house, you can get in touch with us. Contact at mwghosthunters.com or business or whatever you got. We've got a bunch. I know usually fall is our busy time of year. That's when the interest in what we do tends to spike. But we've got more right now lined up to do for like over the summer than we've ever had.
That's unusual.
There's a bunch. There's 3 houses and a business so far that are confirmed and waiting for a date. So we'll get to those. A couple of weeks ago, we went to Sparta, Missouri, to Erica and Kat's house. Weren't sure exactly what to expect because we should know this by now. You can never tell by looking at the outside of a house what's going to be going on inside. But this was a very normal looking neighborhood. The house was a bit newer than we'd been picturing in our heads.
Right. I was thinking this is going to be an older farmhouse type thing set back in Sparta. This has been something they've moved into a house that was like from the Civil War era or something. Yeah. No.
But I think first we will, we do have Erica and Kat on the phone with us. Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. I hope everybody's feeling okay. You were going to be here in person, but then have a little bug going around. So we do appreciate you keeping that at home. Well, I guess first we can start by telling you a little bit about what happened when we were there, because we haven't really talked to you really at all since we were there. So we can talk to you a little bit about what happened, personal experiences that we had while we were there and things that we heard and saw. And then we can, run through some EVPs, and then we can, talk to you guys afterwards a little bit about what to do next and what has happened since we left, which I know has been quite a bit. So as far as like personal experiences go, where would you like to start, John, or anybody, as far as things that we experienced in the house when we were there that weren't directly captured on EVP? I know one for a fact is whenever we were doing the walkthrough with you guys, we kept hearing whispering sounds.
Yes, almost nonstop the whole time.
When you were guys...
were those like similar, like when I was doing my interview, like similar to those kind of sounds
when she
you were saying you were hearing?
Yes, it was a kind of thing.
Okay, like inaudible voices, right? Okay.
And we kept hearing that, while you were kind of showing us around and walking us through the house. I remember particularly when we were in the garage, I heard it was when I heard, one of those. And then I was going to ask you guys, because one thing that we did have happen in the living room after you guys were gone and we were there was the lamps in the living room started going on and off.
That's crazy.
Now we did notice there's like a I'm not techie enough to say what that was.
You have an app that you can control those things with.
We have a Google Home. Yeah,
but we were not controlling the lights at all. I mean, that was no.
That wasn't us. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Those lights, those 2 lamps in the living room were kind of blinking. One would go off, and another would come on, and one would, and then that one.
What about the bedroom? The bedroom ones are on the same app. Did anything happen in there?
Yeah. Bobby saw those lights flickering at one point too.
But that was a different, that was a different, because I saw
not
those
at the
lights.
Same time.
And that was a different bedroom, because the bedroom you're talking about, because I saw those lights flicker, was the one where there are paintings in there. And it's not a lamp, it's just like a light that's...
Okay, that's not on a timer.
That's not on Google Home or anything.
You know what light I'm talking about? It's the one...
Yeah.
I guess it technically would be considered a lamp, but there was a light, you could see when we were sitting in the hallway, that lamp went on and off a couple of times. But the ones in the living room were kind of freaked us out a little bit because they were going off like in a horror movie in sequence. One would go off and one would come on.
So that happens often to us, though.
Yeah. Okay.
So we did have that. Personal experience-wise,
the flies, I would put those in there too.
Do you typically have a lot of flies?
No, not normal. This year has been a shit ton.
Out in the garage too.
Yeah,
the garage. It was just unbelievable.
Yes, very much more than I've ever had. Yeah.
We noticed whenever we were inside and we turned all the lights out, Dustin, was that you sitting in the living room that counted 17 flies on the ceiling? Or was that Tyler?
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And, normally we're not bringing that up for a hygiene aspect. We're just bringing that up because we've been in houses before. And I know, again, this is one of those horror movie cliches, but we've been in houses before where we look up and, that happened to us in Bolivar, Dustin. Mm-hmm. We look up and the next thing you know, the ceiling is covered with flies. And, you don't even know where the hell they came from because you didn't see flies buzzing around in there.
No.
But yeah, there were a lot of, and I'm not talking about flying around. They were parked on the ceiling.
Yeah, they were very dormant.
They weren't moving. Yeah, they weren't moving around.
It happens also in my bath. Like, how we have the 2 bathrooms, that hallway bathroom? Mm-hmm. I can't even tell you how many times I freak out because I hate bugs anyway. You can ask her. I'm just like, why are these effing flies ever? Like, because we don't have any windows open. It's not that time of year yet. There's we shut the doors. We're not in and out. Like, why are there so many flies here? So yeah,
it's not your typical. Because also, I would like that. Obviously your house is very clean.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's not like there was like trash or anything.
No, they were just there.
The other thing I was going to point out too is the house had a lot of different cold spots in it.
Yeah.
And I'm
that just happened yesterday.
I'm not talking about things that that it's just in my mind either, because we were coming in there with temperature guns, and you would see a 20-degree difference in that place.
Yeah.
And I know Bobby, and we're not talking about you pass through a cold spot, because that could be ventilation, HVAC, whatever. Bobby in the hall, she's not here today, but she was sitting in the hallway stationary, and she felt a couple of times cold spots move past her.
Yeah. It happens all the time. Yeah.
We did capture we did catch a video too. We can't show a video on a podcast, but we do have a video of a shadow figure.
Yeah, that's right, in the garage.
In the garage, yeah.
Tyler and I were in the garage, and we went out to try to film some stuff, and I said, hey, right there. It's right there on the garage door. And he actually caught the video. And that's very unusual, because normally you never catch a video of a shadow figure, but we did.
Yeah, it's very difficult to catch those. We've probably only caught maybe 3 or 4 the whole time.
Was it like a winged figure, or was it just like a shape of a person?
It was you can't even tell. It moves so fast.
Okay.
It's moving incredibly fast.
So yeah, whatever that was out in the garage, and that occurred after me and John had spent a little time in the garage by ourselves.
Something got thrown at Chris.
I was going to go ahead and just start. Well, what the hell? We were standing together. It was thrown in. Either I don't know where it came from or where it even landed, but we do have that audio. I thought we'd go ahead and we might as well just start with it, since that's kind of where we are here. So this is me and John in the garage. Now keep in mind, this is well after you guys left, and it's pitch black.
And I've seen a shadow figure out there.
So at this point, we didn't have any lights on, to see anything at all. It was very dark, and we were just kind of, there was a little bit of light coming from something, maybe the refrigerator or something, where you could see, and John was looking kind of in that area because you could see light getting blocked out every now and then. So we've got this audio piece. You're not going to, well, here, let me just play it, and you'll kind of hear what happened on it.
Okay.
What was that? Did you hear it?
Yeah, something moving over there, Chris.
Where?
By the door, left side.
Oh, shit, John.
God damn it. Go.
Oh, shit.
So, my favorite part of that whole thing
is the go.
Do I need to play it again? I can go to that spot near the end without playing the whole piece if one of you didn't hear it. I don't know what John was looking at over there. We heard a little movement in the garage. Did you see or hear something? I don't remember.
I saw something.
Okay.
I saw something it's really hard to see something, a shadow figure in the dark. It's very difficult to do that.
At that point, you're really looking for, light, any kind of light source getting blocked out at all. But whatever was thrown, we dropped nothing. We were standing right by each other, and it sounded like it landed probably 8 to 10 feet behind us. So it would have been right underneath, where that fuse box was.
Interesting.
And now that I think about it, could that possibly have been the fuse box slamming shut? I don't know.
That's funny you say that, because we've been shutting it, and it's been opening a lot since you guys have been here.
Yeah, I remember.
Never did before.
I remember you saying that. Let's go ahead and go to that spot. We'll just play that part again here. Here we go. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but here we go. Did you hear it?
Yeah, something moving over there, Chris.
Where?
By the door, left side.
Oh shit, John!
God damn it! No, that's not it. Something. Something had an impact.
But that was. Getting scared occasionally is part of the fun for us. Sorry to say, I know you guys are going through, a lot, and it's hard. It's kind of like, with the tornado chasers. They're excited to see a tornado, but damn, it sucks what those tornadoes do. It's kind of the same position we're in.
It's just funny for me because I was thinking about you being in a completely dark.
Oh yeah,
because it's black.
It scared the shit out of us, really. So yeah, that scared us a little bit.
We couldn't figure out what it was that was thrown or tossed.
No.
I think it was one of the dog's toys that got thrown. It was the only thing that was out of place when I came home that night.
We looked over there, and we do take some establishing pictures whenever we show up, but it's very difficult to know. You can't take a picture of every square inch, of every.
Right.
It was very difficult looking at those pictures to tell, if anything was out of place. There was nothing glaring out of place. We can at least say that.
Right.
We've got a lot of EVPs here to run through, so we might as well just go ahead and start getting through some of those. I'm just going to pull this one up and play it, and then, we can talk about it a little bit after and play it again if we need to. Here we go.
Like a wheeze?
Yeah.
I just heard something breathing in here, guys.
Yeah.
Is it charging?
What was that?
That shit?
Yes, I did.
You get a fucking growl?
That was a growl. Now, the very first one of the things you hear in there is not an entity. It's me. It was me doing an imitation of something I just had heard.
The second one that comes in is not John.
You'll play it again. We can point it out.
Okay, I'll play the whole thing, and John can kind of point out what was him and what was not. Here we go.
Like a wheeze?
Yeah.
I just heard something breathing in here.
That was John.
Yeah.
Is it charging?
What was that?
Not me. Not me.
The second one was not John. Have you heard anything like that before?
All the time.
Yes, and let me tell you, so now it's turned to a hiss. So I think I either emailed or texted one of you and told you that my best friend's daughter, so 3 days ago, really long story short, she calls us and says there's a snake under her bed. And we're like, a snake? And it's like a hissing sound that all the kids heard it, 4 of them. My best friend, all of her kids heard it. She even called the police there. There was no snake. And then the next day she was at school and she goes, Mommy, I heard the hissing in the vents.
Well, it's interesting.
So
That's weird that you would say that.
Yeah, it is, because we have an EVP here of hissing, and it's actually called Hissing Behind John. That's what you named it.
I'm like, this is weird. This shit sounds like something's hissing.
So we can play that and see. Now, this person you were talking about, did you hear the hissing, or was it just them?
Okay, no, so she's my 10-year-old niece, and she heard it first, and she was scared to get out of bed. So she said, Mommy, come here. There's a snake under my bed. Well, her mom's a single mom, and her brothers come running, and they all hear it. And so she's like, get out of here, get out of this room. Because, in her mind, she's like, how is there a snake in my house? They live in a really nice house. Why would there be a snake under my daughter's bed? And she said, you could hear it. Well, like I said, she called 911. She called animal control. The police came out. They found nothing. Kat and I went out there. We found nothing. And Kat's initial thought was, it's whatever's here. And then after that, now I've been hearing, instead of the growling, we've been hearing the hissing. And Kat heard it behind her ear the other day, which she normally doesn't hear it, but she heard it the other day. This
was captured near John when he was talking. Did you hear it when we were there?
I don't remember.
Let me go ahead and play this audio for you, because this one was perplexing, because we were like, what the hell would that be? We couldn't figure it out. So let me go ahead and play it, and then we can talk about it here a little bit after. Here it goes.
Yeah, the app thing, some people really love them, some people don't. But I can't explain that extra God voice. I cannot explain.
Okay, did you hear it?
Yeah.
It sounds like hissing, and it's interesting because I didn't realize that was when you guys were still there.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's another one on there too, like that. I believe in the living room area. I think that's in there too.
Well, and John, you made mention in that comment about that extra God voice, and I don't know if you thoroughly listened, but it says it not once but twice, and then in the end, the cat says, "Who's messing with the dog?" and it says, Satan is. Did you hear that?
We're talking about, by the way, for the people listening, it's an iPad video that you guys took of your dog. Was it appearing to play with somebody? I can't remember which video that was.
Yeah, he was playing tug of war and getting drugged around by an entity we put that was obviously not seen.
And there's a voice that comes in, a male voice, fairly deep voice, that says God.
Just completely out of the blue.
Also, he says it 3 times, and then they say Satan in the end. And actually, I've uploaded it to my YouTube, so if your listeners want to go to the YouTube and watch it, it's there. We're
going to get all of this stuff put up on its own webpage, and we'll put all that.
What is your YouTube if people want to visit that?
Oh, sure. It's Our Haunted Life 2024, all one word.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull one up, and we can kind of talk about it after. Here we go.
I can move mine into the garage.
We've got.
That was one that I remember we listened to. Dustin heard something when we were on site, but I don't hear it in here now.
We listened to this thing before, and one time we heard it, and the next time we did not.
Yeah, I know.
The same EVP. So play it again.
Okay, let me just play it again. We'll see.
I can move mine into the garage.
We've got.
Oh, okay. I did hear it. Okay, that's going to
very
be
faint.
very difficult for you to hear.
They're
over
not
the
going to
phone.
hear that over the phone.
But that was like a breathing, kind of like on the one we played a minute ago. Not the hissing, but the one before that. It was like a breathing type sound behind Dustin there. I did hear it on that second time. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm just going to kind of bounce around here. This is in the bedroom. This is a noise that was captured in there. Let's see what we got. Okay, and I'm assuming we were outside at that point because I
Yes.
can hear us in the distance.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys could hear it on the phone. It was very quick. But there was a sound right in the middle there. Let me go ahead. It sounded kind of like a vocal. Let me go to that spot and see if I can play that spot for you. It's right there.
Oh, yeah, I hear it.
Don't know what that is. Like I said, we're including stuff in here that we just don't know what the hell would be because it's stuff that's not ambient sound. It's not an ambient sound of the house, and it's nothing that we brought in, so we don't know what it would be. Are we sitting here saying that was a ghost saying that? No. We just don't know exactly, what that was.
Right, okay.
This was when you heard a whisper sound. We'll play it and see if they're able to hear this one.
Well, I hear them on occasion. Erica hears them more than I do.
Check that. I just heard something.
Okay, that was when you guys were still there, and it's gonna again, it's gonna be very difficult to hear over the phone. But it was when you were kind of giving us a walkthrough rundown of things that are happening there, and you can hear something whispering behind. Is that cat talking?
Yes.
You can hear something
whispering behind her.
Whispering behind you. I'll do it again. It's gonna be very difficult to hear, but I will play it again because when you guys listen to the podcast later, you'll be able to hear this stuff.
Well, I hear them on occasion. Erica hears them more than I do.
Check that. I just heard something.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
What all of you guys had to happen since we've left? Have we made it worse?
Yes.
Okay.
150%. That's why I wanted my best friend to come on the show. She could probably, Kat and her can explain it better as to what's happening. But I've been experiencing a lot of blackouts, and Kat says that I talk almost like I'm in third person. And then there was this like last week, my best friend was here, and she said I came out of the bathrooms. I just got out of the shower, and she said my eyes. She goes, "Do you have black contacts in?" And my eyes are like hazel. She goes, she said just that fast, my eyes were like literally black, and she said I was full of rage, and I literally have no recollection. So much to where I've made an appointment with a neurologist because I'm like I don't black out. Like I have no reason to be blacking out. And Kat says like I speak in third person. Like I spoke to the dog. Like I didn't know who it was, and I talk about myself. Like I don't smoke. Like I do smoke. Like there's been lots of stuff has happened. Lots of stuff. You just came back out here. They're asking about what's like gotten worse, and maybe you can explain better like about what's happening with me.
Okay, so it usually will start with Erica complaining about a bad pain in her head and then becoming very nauseous, sometimes even throwing up. And then there is a look that will come over her that is not her. I don't know how else to say it. It's like her eyes get very dark and she says things that are so out of character for her. We know that whatever this dark entity is that is here hates me. So, there will be things that she'll say that are very targeted towards me, that are very negative, and then she'll like almost pass out. Oh, she, she hates the dog as well during these times. And then she will almost like pass out and then come back and be like, I love you and all life is great. And and I'm like, do you remember telling me this? I don't know what you're talking about, is usually what I get. And I said, what's the last thing you remember? And it would be whatever she was doing before the sharp pain in the head and the nausea takes over. And this is happening more frequently. It's a little scary, I have to say, because of the time lapse of her memory. And like I said, this thing really does not like me.
Right.
Because we know it has physically hurt me. And
we saw when we were there the photos that have been taken of those marks on your back, and those are not laughing matter at all. Those were crazy. They were just like so deep.
Yeah.
So
I have a 6-inch scar down the middle of my back. Down at the lower part of my back because of it. It's pushed me to the ground.
Also, our dog now is very, very responsive. He just immediately now, we have to keep that door open between the laundry room and the garage, because the only place he'll go is in the garage in his kennel. And he don't care if we're out here or not. When he gets scared, that's where he goes. That's usually when stuff starts to happen. You know, and it's like, I guess it's a security thing for him, because normally he don't leave our side, but it's just like all of a sudden he'll get up and he'll go, and then we know what's about to come.
Well, and he knows when Erica's not Erica. He will bark at her, growl at her, try and nip at her face, which he normally does not do. He's usually a very sweet, lovey dog.
Yeah.
And then he'll run to his kennel. So, yeah, I mean, there's some pretty weird shit going on right now.
Well, there's no better endorsement for our services than, us making shit worse. Sorry. Well, sometimes, it's not the first time that's happened, and and we are gonna, we're gonna refer you, to some other people that can hopefully help you with that part. We did what we had to do while we were there to try to get the evidence, But I think we're gonna jump back into a few of these EVPs here. We heard a growling sound a few times. Let me go ahead and just play this one. We can talk about it after it plays.
Yeah.
Is it charging?
What was that?
That shit?
Yes, I did.
You get that fucking growl?
That was a growl.
Okay, I don't know if you could hear that,
Oh yeah, we heard it.
but I am going to play. I'm going to play it again. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Is it charging?
What was that?
That shit?
Yes, I did.
You get that fucking
That
growl?
was a growl.
Yeah, that's the bedroom growl.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Actually, that's exactly what it is.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
That's when this initially started. The very first thing that happened, we were in bed and that growling sound came from the closet. And I thought I was crazy, so I didn't say anything at first. And then it happened a second time about 2 minutes later, which she heard it as well. And I'm like, did you hear it the first time? She's like, I did. It was like, we didn't want to say anything to the other because it sounds freaking nuts,
It's very odd for us to be on site and to hear that kind of thing, out loud. A lot of times we'll catch this kind of stuff when we review the audio later. But for 5, however many, hell, I don't remember how many of us were in there. To all hear something like that is not very common, really, at all. And we got a few more growls here. Let me go ahead and see if you can hear it on this one. This is one that Bobby heard.
Headphone jack.
All of them are summing.
Did you hear it again?
Okay.
Friends, it's there.
It's going to be very hard to hear over the phone, but it's at the very, very beginning. I can do it again. Here we go.
Headphone
It was
jack.
right there.
Oh yeah, I hear it.
It sounds like it's the same as the one that we played just a minute ago.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Bobby heard it like a few times. She was sitting kind of in the hall, I think.
Bobby was the closest to the bedroom.
Oh.
Tyler and I were messing with the controller in that her art room, I guess is what you would call it. We were Ty and I were messing with the controller for all of this in that room, and Bobby was over closer to the bedroom. So Bobby's going to have Bobby's closer to the source.
She sat there. What she did that night was she sat in the floor, kind of facing the bathroom, with her headphones. She sat there with her headphones on. She was listening to the master mix of all of our recorders coming together, so she could hear in real time, what they were picking up, and then could let us, know if something's responding that we can't hear out loud. She could hear what the recorders are recording, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So were all the growls coming from the bedroom? In your opinion, do you think that's where they mostly came from?
That's where they all came from.
Yes,
It's
out of that bedroom.
That's where the 100% of them came from.
Okay,
And
wow.
one of those
okay.
actually turns into a vocal later on in here too.
And I was going to let me play this one and just kind of get it to see if here we'll just play it and break it down afterwards.
Right by the bed.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, that was like a whispering that was happening there. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I heard
not
that, yeah.
that wasn't the one I was thinking. Whenever we go into a house like yours, we never know. Even though you guys walk us through and kind of show us the hot spots, we've had that happen before. And then when we're in the house that night, not your house in particular, but when we've been in a house where they say, oh, everything happens, in the garage, and we camp out in the garage and our recorders catch all the shit, in the house. We're in the wrong
exactly
spot.
right.
So in this case, we did spend a lot of time out in the garage. We even even put a recorder in the attic. And, you know, there were several audio hits on that recorder. I could not be 100% sure they weren't birds from outside, so I threw them out. But there was also some movement sounds up in there. Could it be settling? Yeah, it could be. And I know it also rained that night, so it could have been, you know, that. So for those reasons, I threw a lot of those out. But we did hear some movement at some point up in that attic when we were in the house part. In the house, we could hear a little bit of movement in the attic. But yeah, it seemed like really, you know, looking back, if we were to revisit, we would focus more heavily from, you know, the wall where you guys, this is something our podcast listeners don't even know about, the wall where the handprint is.
Oh, yeah.
From that point to the bedroom seemed like that was really where everything was.
And I would really focus on that bedroom, because that to me, particularly when you hear that the thing that has a vocal in there, I mean, that there's something going on.
Well, and with that said, you did have something thrown at you in the garage too. So
yeah, I mean, that's true. I'm not saying that it's not haunted out there too, but
right.
If I were to pick the most haunted section,
if we were looking for our EVP pond to fish in, it would definitely be down the hall in that back area for sure. You know, near the bedrooms, you know, where the couch shook and all that stuff. I'm going to play this one. These are some breaths that we caught, and I'm wondering if this is I'm looking for the one when we were all outside, when there was breathing in the bedroom.
Well, there's breathing in the bedroom, and there's also walking down that hall when nobody's in that house.
This is Unknown Sounds in Back Bedroom. We'll play it and we'll see. Here it is.
I have no idea. There's nobody back there.
I don't know. And we're just playing that to point out that there are sounds coming from that area that should not be back there.
Right.
As you already know.
We hear those noises all the time.
Right. Now, none of this is news to you. That shouldn't be happening.
No.
I've got another one that we've labeled growl. I just kind of want to see which one it is. Let's go ahead and play it here.
What's that got there? See, here's what I was talking about. I was right here. What does that say? Is it charging? What's that?
Okay.
There's some hissing there at the beginning.
But did you hear the
about midterm?
There's someone who comes in, and we listened to this morning because at first we thought, oh, that's John, or no, that's me. But we're all talking at the same time when that happens. You're going to hear.
There's another one that is close in on that one.
I'm going to play the whole thing, but you'll hear a male voice say something like "Let's see" or something.
Let's see here.
Let me just play the whole thing again without interrupting it this time.
What's that got there? See, here's what I was talking about. I was right here. What does that say?
Right there.
Is it charging? What's that? Is my question.
What the?
That was a growl.
Oh,
we got a growl.
Okay.
I'm sorry, do it one more time from the beginning and listen at the beginning. I'm going to point at you. Do you hear like the weird hissing?
It sounded like a chair almost.
Play it. Let me see.
Okay.
I'll point it out to you.
I'll play it from the beginning. Here it is.
What's that got there? See, here's what I was talking about. I was right here.
Okay.
What does that say?
I think that may have been you getting a breath before you coughed up your Monster Energy drink.
Maybe it was. Yeah. Okay.
Let me go from the beginning one more time.
What's that got there? See, here's what I was talking about. I was right here. What does that say? Is it charging? What's that?
That's the part that we don't know what is right there.
That sounds like the growl.
I just I don't know. We would have to leave it up to interpretation because we've eliminated all of us, so we don't know, exactly what that would be. Let me go ahead. This is where the lights turned on and off, and we thought there was a whisper maybe. I can't remember. Let me just play it here. Here it is.
That's just another one.
Willard.
Just add it to the list.
Who did that?
Whoa.
All right.
Oh my.
Johnny fucking with us?
John.
What?
Are you fucking us right now?
What?
The lights are going
on and
off.
No.
Do they have a smart home? Are they doing that from their phone? Maybe?
No.
Okay, let me back it up and play it from the beginning because there is something there in the beginning.
That's what I was referring to when I said stone pressure plate.
Yeah, I mean, I remember us hearing something at that point.
I don't.
While we were there.
I don't remember. Did you guys?
Well, we
hear
all
what
react to it.
Did you guys hear what we were talking about?
What you're reacting to is not the sound. You're reacting to the lights going off because the lights are going off, on and off.
I thought we heard something first, and then the lights started.
Maybe you did. I thought it was just purely a light thing.
Let me play it again. I don't know what the hell that sound. It sounds like Indiana Jones pushing a big
I don't
rock.
know what it could be. Like, what could it possibly be?
All right, let me just play the whole thing again.
And let me say where this recorder is at. This recorder is sitting on the lamp stand in there, so it's going to be very close to that lamp.
Okay, here it is.
That's just another one. Willard. Just add it to the list. Who did that? Whoa. All right.
Oh my.
Johnny, fucking with us? John.
I think the who did that was related to the sound, and then the lights started flickering, if I recall.
Do you remember, Tyler?
I don't remember.
I don't remember hearing a sound that loud. One more time. Here we go.
That's just another one. Willard. Just add it to the list. Who did that? Whoa.
It sounds like a stone.
Oh my.
I just don't know what that would be. And we're not sitting here, telling you that it's. We're not telling you it's anything. We don't know what the hell it is. Have you heard anything like that?
No, not like a stone moving, but there's so much stuff that happens in this house on a daily basis that it's hard to say, if we've heard it or not, because it's just become part of our daily life.
Right.
Yeah, noises we don't hardly even respond to anymore.
Does it sound more to you guys, to everyone here? Does that sound more like a mechanical sound, or like a stone moving, something actually moving, or does it sound like more of a growl?
Well, I can't. I'm between those two. I can't tell.
I can't.
That one there doesn't sound like a growl to me. That sounds like a stone is being drug across something.
I can't unhear stone.
Neither one of those things make any fucking sense. I mean, it doesn't really matter. What makes more sense, a growl or dragging stone?
If a lamp is being drugged or moved, all you have to do is just move that lamp and put that recorder that close to it. All it's got to do is move that lamp a little bit.
Could be. I don't know.
Because that would create that sound.
One of the lamps is on a slate top table.
That could be. I mean, that could very well be.
All you got to do is just move it. It doesn't have to move a lot, just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
That recorder's sitting right there next to it, so it's going to sound like a train coming through.
Let's try this one. I can't tell on my notes which. There's one that's called Part 1 ONE, and there's one that's called Part 1 with the number 1, and I can't tell on my notes which one's which. So here, let's just go ahead and play one.
Yeah.
Chris took my headphones. All right, hold on.
I guess it's. I mean, there could still be some power in it. Yeah. Stored.
Okay. What we're focusing on there is right in the middle. It sounded like one of those growl sounds. Let me play it again.
Where was this? Is this garage?
No. This is the bedroom area.
Okay, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Chris took my headphones. All right, hold on.
It was right there.
Yes, it's. I mean, there could still be.
It just sounds
Right
like
before it started beeping.
Right before something started beeping. I can't tell what that is.
That's our...
Is that the EMF detector? Yeah, it'd be hard to tell without knowing what that thing was pointed at and why it was beeping at that moment. But I will say this, speaking of the EMF detector, we did a full EMF sweep of your home from end to end, and it's very well insulated. Even the microwave and the oven and the refrigerator, the things that are usually the hot spots, and even the fuse box, really, when the door's closed, it really doesn't leak. So we looked through, all that stuff from, floor to as high as we could reach. And there's really no major, as far as, like natural occurrences of EMF, being leaked out, like we've experienced before with fuse boxes. And, we've had an issue with a fan and a tanning bed in other homes. So everything on that aspect was very well insulated. Okay, let me just play this one from the garage and see what we got.
This has been destroyed.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, she's wondering if maybe whatever this entity is.
That was a whisper at the very, very beginning. Let me do it again.
This has been destroyed.
It was right there. Very faint.
Yeah.
Going to be hard for you guys to hear over the phone.
Yeah, barely. I can make it out, barely.
Let me roll through one here where Dustin and Ty heard some whispering, and let's see what we got on this one.
I have, unlike these other peeps.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Whisper?
The light flicker.
Okay, that was where the light in the back bedroom, the one I was telling you guys about earlier, started flickering. The one in the room where the I think that's the room where the paintings
It
are.
started flickering, Bobby said, right when we heard the...
And you can hear the whisper at the very, very beginning. It's very faint. Let me do it again.
I have, unlike
right there.
What was that?
And I did sit out there across from Bobby at one point and look down that hallway, and I saw that light flicker too. And it was kind of like fading. It's not like when a bulb is dying, when the filaments start to separate. It's not like that where they start blinking on and off. It was more like it was fading on and off a couple of times.
Well, and I have all LED lights in my house, so I don't even have filament bulbs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So.
All right.
I mean,
so
they shouldn't do anything.
yeah, if they're LED, they wouldn't even have the filament to do that. So I mean, technically, the LEDs shouldn't even fade like that.
They don't.
I can't explain, but I did see that myself happen as well. Let me try this one here. I don't remember if we played it. Let me just play it, and if we've already played it, we'll move on. But if not, we'll break it down after. Here it is.
Here we go. Hopefully not 3.5. Is that a DVD?
Okay, I hear it there. That's the one where there's the behind us. Let me play it one more time.
Here we go. Hopefully not 3.5. Is that a DVD?
That shouldn't be there. That's just another one of those things, that shouldn't be there. It sounded like something whispering, or something, behind us while we were talking. I was thinking we had some other personal experiences that we're not mentioning. This happens to us a lot, when we talk to the homeowner, and then afterwards we remember shit that we forgot to mention. I just can't. I can't remember now. I know at one point I felt a little off in the back. I don't feel shit, really. I usually don't feel things, but it did feel kind of weird in the back bedroom area, and it was in that main bedroom back, the last bedroom on the left. It felt weird to me. Maybe that was just myself, me freaking myself out because we had heard a couple of things back there.
Well, I mean, it does happen here. There have been many a times where we've either been back in the bedroom or in the other bedroom or out in the garage, and it almost feels like you're being drugged, I guess is the best way to describe it, where you just kind of feel a listlessness. If you stay in the area, it just gets worse and worse. I mean, to the point where I'll pass out or Erica will pass out. And as soon as we walk into another room, we're perfectly fine, like nothing has ever happened to us. So there's something that makes you feel a particular way in here.
Are you guys living there again? I know at one point you'd kind of taken a break and were staying elsewhere. At least I thought someone had mentioned.
Well, there have been times where, it's like, okay, pack a bag, we're heading out for the night, because the activity is just overwhelming and we can't stay in the house. But yeah, I mean, we live in the house on a daily unless it just gets to that point of we just can't take it anymore.
So has anything happened like in the past few days that you've been there, that you've been back? Anything major happen?
Well, yeah, like I said, the whole thing with Erica losing time and kind of the demonic nature of her personality happens. And there's been times where I've been like, in the garage, I'll just pass out for no reason. Like I'm not overly tired or anything like that. It's just all of a sudden I feel like I can't keep my eyes open. And then the amount of noise that's going on in here is crazy. Since you guys have been here, we're seeing a lot of orb activity. We're hearing, like the footsteps going down the hall, playing in the kitchen. We have I call it the ghost dog, but you'll hear like a dog or their nails are clicking across the kitchen floor. So, I mean, the activity is amped up quite a bit since you guys have been here. But like I said, a lot of the stuff we don't, it doesn't even register to us most of the time because we're just so used to it.
Right.
But the loss of time with Erica and what I called like the demonic personality that comes through, I know that there's something that's trying to take possession, and it's not good.
Well,
part is is super scary.
We can say, when we come into a house, really our goal is to decide one of two things. Either, we did experience activity that night or we didn't. And we certainly did in your house. And if that's the criteria for us to stamp it as haunted, then that's what we would do. We would say there's definitely something there. And since you guys, as we've said many times on this podcast and to you guys, when we do investigations, we do them purely observational. We may do a little bit of provoking a little bit just to see if we can get something to happen. We don't go over the top with it. But we don't do any sort of, we don't try to do any sort of religious, rites or sprinkling holy water or anything like that. But we did, while we were there, ask anything that was there. We even addressed your lifestyle, because you had mentioned that maybe your lifestyle was an issue. So we even asked that specifically many times on the EVPs. And then at the end of the evening, we did say, or at some point along the way, we did say, request that anything that's there to please leave the homeowners alone. That obviously didn't listen to us. So since you guys have requested, even before we started, having a process of having maybe someone cleanse the house, we do have a referral we'll pass on to you for that. That'll be, someone separate from us. Of course, we would like to hear, how it went after.
Absolutely.
To kind of, see if that calms things down. And then hopefully after that, things will calm down a little bit, and we would like, an update after that. Now, I also want to say, on the podcast here today with you guys, we've played, maybe 12 EVPs? There's probably 40. So what we're going to do, it would be very difficult for us to sit here and run through one by one, on a podcast in this way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to load these all up to your own page on the website. So if you go to the website, mwghosthunters.com, at the very top, it says evidence / investigations or something like that. If you click on that link here soon, you can see all the little buttons there. Every house we visited recently has its own button. We'll add a button at the top, that says Kat and Erica's house, or we'll put Sparta, Missouri, or something on there. And then when you click on that, that will have all the EVPs we capture you can listen through. We'll have the video, that we caught in the garage, and then we will also have your link to your YouTube page on there as well, and probably a link to this episode of the podcast. So that will happen soon. Give us a couple of days to get it all, loaded in there. But we'll get that all up on the website, mwghosthunters.com, because like I said, we only played a few here on the podcast, and I can't even say for sure that we played the best ones, because I'm dancing around here looking at all these. It's like, man, I can't remember. We'll try this one and this one. So there's going to be more that will be loaded on the website at mwghosthunters.com. You guys can feel free to listen to those, and of course you can text any of us, contact us at any time to let us know kind of what's going on there, and then we'll keep in touch regarding the process that comes next. We'll pass that baton on to someone else as far as the cleansing of the house and whatever they do, and then after that get in touch again and kind of let us know how that's going too. Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch with you guys. Like I said, the activity that is in this house, it doesn't matter day, night. It's that constantly. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. The back of the house is definitely a very active zone. I'm curious as to what it was in this land at one point.
That is something, that's another piece of this that we're going to provide that we have not done yet. We've spent the past, I don't know however many days it's been, 10 to 14 days going over all these recorders. And then kind of looking into the property itself is another thing that we will do, because we've done that in the past, and we've had some, we can't draw a direct line, but we've had, we did one house in it's not the one in Willard we talk about all the time, but we did do another one in Willard where it is the one. It is the one in Willard where it sat right on the Trail of Tears that cut through.
Yeah, but the whole town did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, little stuff like that, we may find, some stuff, here or there. We'll definitely take a look, and we'll provide you with that, information that we get. That'll also be on that page of the website too, but we'll provide that to you separately as well. Definitely keep in touch. Let us know. We won't call at the end. We'll keep the file open because, like you probably heard, we revisit places as need be because activity shifts and changes.
Yeah.
So if it gets, if it does, ramp up and get worse, and I'm not saying we come out there just for, entertainment value only, but this group that we're going to, refer you to, they require, if they come out and do a cleansing of your house now, and then the activity changes later, they would require us to come out again anyway, just to kind of document what they're dealing with. So, definitely stay in touch, and we'll consider this case a positive hit for paranormal activity, but we're going to keep it open. Okay.
Okay, that sounds great.
And then,
Thank you guys so much.
give us a couple of days, and you can go on the website mwghosthunters.com, and it'll all be right there.
We'll be back next week with more Dark Matter from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri, with Midwest Ghost Hunters.